So the first patch of TFT 7.5 is coming through today, and it's time to say goodbye to a couple of major things, including the Dragonmancer Nunu comp, and hopefully a lot of the Cephalios with Zeke spam. Though even with these comps kind of running rampant for the last couple of days, I've been really enjoying 7.5 so far, and I hope you guys have been too, and I'm really excited to see what happens in this new patch and kind of where the meta goes. So let's go ahead and look at everything that's going to happen in patch 12.18, because this is what we're going to be playing for the next couple of weeks. Really excited. Now, Mordog and Kent did say that this patch was focused a lot more on buffs. There were a lot of comps and units that kind of just didn't do anything this last patch, so we're going to see a lot of buffs this patch, and a couple of nerfs that are going to bring some other things down in line, such as the Nunu comp. But overall, we should be able to see a lot more viable options. And starting off with the buffs, Wukong is going to get some time to shine. His AD spell scaling is going to be going up at 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star. He was played everywhere in PvE and kind of disappeared as soon as the set went live, so this is a very welcome change. Kai'Sa's being buffed at all stars. As one of the early game carries for Dragonmancer and Lagoon, this is pretty welcome. This should stabilize a little bit of those comps earlier on. And Zac is also getting buffed at all 3 stars. So yeah, he should be a lot better of a tank now, especially early game. Nasus is being buffed at 3-star only at spell damage and spell health, while Jax is getting 5 more armor and MR, and Karma and Set are getting buffed at 3-star as well. And actually a decent mount on this Karma. This should give a bit more viability to 1-cost reroll comps. I've tried a little bit of this Karma. I'm still not too big of a fan of her. She really needs mana. But her as an early game carry should be pretty good, and if you get a 3-star easily, then it should be a pretty good carry. Zeri is another Lagoon unit that's being buffed at all star levels, and with the Cannoneer nerfs that we're going to see later on, I'm actually perfectly okay with this. I thought Zeri was actually a pretty good unit, and them leaning more into the AP side of her will make her fit better in a lot of the Lagoon comps, as well as keeps her as a pretty good 3-cost, even though Cannoneer is not going to be as great. Volibear is also being buffed at all 3 stars, just a little bit, as well as Zippy is getting 5 more AD, and they fixed a bug that makes it so whenever he casts his ability, he's going to be more likely to stay on that target when he attacks. Sometimes he would switch and attack a different unit. This should not be a problem anymore. And to wrap up buffs for units, actually a lot of dragons got buffed this patch. Shioyu at 1 and 2-star are being buffed pretty decently, and Tyrant Swain's healing is actually going to be going up from 11% missing health to 12% missing health. Hopefully this isn't going to make Swain Giga Chad unkillable like he was in PvE, but especially with a lot of the other buffs that are happening, I don't think this Tyrant Swain is going to be so scary, especially with all of the anti-heal that people are finding in this comp. Pantheon is still really good, so there's always going to be kind of ways to deal with Tyrant Swain, and so I like him being a little bit better, but still not necessarily like the Giga Chad never dies like he was earlier. Soam and Aurelion Soul also got buffed at 1 and 2-star. For items, we're only touching Radiant items, and that's Gargoyle Stoneplate is going up from 1% HP regeneration to 1.5, and Radiant Protector's Vow is going from a 3-second shield duration to a 4-second shield duration, and from a 30 armor and MR to 35 armor and MR, so decent buffs here. And last for the buffs is traits. Shimmer Scale got nerfed after the PvE. It was pretty OP. It's being buffed slightly on all levels, as well as Mage is not going to be touched at 3 Mage, but 5 Mage, 7 Mage, 9 Mage have all got decent buffs on them as well. So a lot of power has been put back into the set, just for a lot of champions that felt very weak. But obviously some comps were just OP and people were forcing them every game, so what did they nerf this patch? Cannoneer is not being touched at 2, however at 4 and 6 Cannoneer, they are getting decent nerfs. The buff from Cannoneer going up 100% between 2 and 4 always seemed a little bit weird to me. It seems quite OP, and clearly they're starting to agree that it was quite good. Even without the Zeke's comp, it always felt that 4 Cannoneer was a little bit too strong to me, and especially with being able to get Cannoneer Nomzi in for 6 Cannoneer, this always felt pretty great, especially since Graves is a good unit. This is going to be a decent nerf. However, Mortdog did say he thinks Cannoneer will be still pretty good, so we'll see how that goes this next patch. Dragonmancer itself was also nerfed. A lot of the HP that you were given was taken down. Something that's important to know is at 6 Dragonmancer here, you see only went down 1 HP, but this also scales by the star level from every Dragonmancer that's on the board. While it looks like it's only 100 HP, it actually is significantly more than that. The ability power has also been nerfed a little bit, though not considerably. Dragonmancer still should be pretty strong, but I think the idea of just a Nunu that doesn't die was kind of the problem, especially at 8 Dragonmancer, which is kind of cool because Lee Sin got slightly nerfed. His first cast is going to take 10 more mana, as well as he's going to now take longer to recast every time. Ragewing was nerfed a little bit, only at 6 Ragewing though. When Mortdog talked about this, he said it was mostly just because getting a Shyvana in was a huge power spike for Xayah, which admittedly is very true, so a small nerf at 6 Ragewing. To go along with the Cannoneer nerfs, Last Whisper was also touched, Radiant and its normal form. They recently buffed it from 50% up to 60%. This is a little strong in the current set, so they went ahead and reduced it back down to 50%. Scale scoring got a minor touch. At 6 scale scoring, it was super strong. At 115% bonus damage from all damage sources, they just moved it a little bit down so that 6 scale scoring wasn't like an automatic win. Radiant Sunfire was also slightly nerfed, going from a 4 hex effect range down to a 3 hex effect range. And for nerfed units, we just have Nunu and Aphelios. Aphelios' attack speed goes from 7.5 down to 7. This is after they already nerfed it from 0.8 to 0.75, so this isn't a tiny nerf, this is 2 tiny nerfs to make a decent nerf. And Nunu's true damage threshold has gone from 33% down to 20%, so he should do a lot less true damage whenever he does his big chomp because he has so much HP. They also fixed the interaction between Nunu's bite and Giant Slayer, so this is a decent nerf to Nunu along with those Dragonmancer nerfs. And with that, we just have a couple of reworks. Astral had a pretty big change in that there are no longer breakpoints. It used to be when you added up the star level of all your Astral units, there were certain thresholds that would give you different amounts of loot from your loot orb. They've gotten rid of that. You don't need to hit certain numbers. It is now increased based off of the total star level of all of your champs. However, you can only have one of each Astral unit in to count towards this. So if you have 2 Lux 2s, it only counts as 2 star level towards your Astral like total. So it's pretty cool, and I think the only real important threshold is that you can start getting item components at 8 star level. I'm pretty sure I'll put the table up on screen now. And the other main rework was Deja has been changed. Back in 7.5, they made it so Deja did 0 AD damage, mostly because of the interaction between Deja and the Whisper emblem. Now Whisper emblem's been removed, so they've brought the AD back, but this also means Deja's passive attack does a little bit less ability damage, but now it will do attack damage. So AD weapons will now work on Deja. You can give her a Deathblade if for some reason you really want to, or you can give her a Runons. It is possible, and it does do something if you really have nowhere else to put it. And to wrap up the patch, we have Augment changes. The most important things to notice here is Dragonmancer Conference has been added. Now every 2 rounds you will gain a Dragonmancer on your board, kind of like the Yordle portal, or if you had Mage Conference in the past. And Lucky Gloves is now vastly improved. Frontline AD champions will now receive a better selection of items. Now always grants full items even before level 7, as well as the item combos that you can get out are just in general better to make this augment a bit better of a choice. For bugs, the 2 I really want to point out is Mirage's Pirate's Bounty will no longer grant a chest after NPC rounds, as well as Darkflight is when the round starts, if you do not have your team filled out and the champion that is auto-filled onto the board is a Darkflight unit, the Darkflight Hex will still work instead of it not initiating. A lot of the rest of this just has to do with Nyla and how she interacts with units. But for the most part, that's going to be it. So if this video is any helpful to you, please leave a like on it down below. I would really appreciate it. And in a few days, I'll have a video out talking about what are the strongest comps that I've been playing. So yeah, be sure to look out for that video. And anyways, have yourselves a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.